Hello, Ivy here. This week's podcast is entitled Diana, Doria and Meghan. Happy UK Mother's Day. Today, Sussex Global UK podcast is celebrating three women who have had huge impact on their children and the role they play on the British royal family in a variety of ways. Today's podcast is not one of critique or negativity. The focus of this short podcast is on these mothers and the impact they had on their children, who in turn each have significant prominence in both UK and in particular global history. Let's start with Princess Diana, quoting from an article written by Saman Javad in The Independent on the 1st of July 2021. Diana's approach to motherhood eschewed traditional royal protocol in favour of a relaxed, relatable approach. When Tony Blair referred to Diana as the People's Princess in a tribute following the news of her death in August 1997, he captured the mood of a nation in mourning. Famed for her personable take on royal life, impeccable sense of style, and hands-on approach to raising her boys, Prince William and Prince Harry, Princess Diana was much loved by the British public. When it came to parenting, Diana regularly broke from tradition. The princess chose to take William with her on her first overseas tour in 1983, when he was 9 months old, despite the Queen leaving a young Prince Charles in the care of nannies when she went on royal visits. William and Harry also did not have any homeschooling, as many royals did before them had. Diana's love for her children has been well documented, with one royal expert recently telling The Independent that Diana would have been a hands-on grandmother to Harry's daughter Lilibet, because she always wanted a baby girl of her own. Diana was always drawn to the daughters of her friends, according to Ian Lloyd, a royal photographer and author of the book called The Duke. The statue of Diana, unveiled on the 1st of July 2021 by Harry and William in Kensington Gardens, was to honour the positive impact of Diana on what would have been her 60th birthday. Prince William was born at St Mary's Hospital in London on the 21st of June 1982. 2 years later, Diana gave birth to Prince Harry on the 14th of September 1984. Prince William became the first royal to not have any homeschooling education. Prince Charles was homeschooled by a governess until the age of 8. Both William and Harry attended the Wetherby School in Notting Hill from the age of 5. We have all seen photos of Diana taking part in races at her son's sports days on a number of occasions. Here she is seen running towards the finish line at William's sports day in 1989. Under the royal protocol, two heirs to the throne would never travel together in the same airplane to protect the line of succession in case of a tragedy. Diana chose to take William with her and Charles on their tour of Australia and New Zealand in 1983, when he was just 9 months old. In April 1985, Prince Charles and Princess Diana took both sons on a 17-day tour of Italy, when Harry was 7 months old. This photo is of them aboard the Royal Yacht Britannia. And when I refer to photos, by the way, there are a few of them on the slides, but the rest of them are contained in the article, which will be on the website tomorrow. Diana also took Prince Harry on a trip to Scotland in March 1985, 6 months after he was born. In the Oprah interview last March, Harry revealed that one of the things he values most about his life in Santa Barbara is going on bicycle rides with Archie. There is a famous photo taken from a family holiday in the Scilly Isles in 1989, where Harry and William are pictured riding their bikes in front of their parents. Along with the children being taken to formal engagements, Diana also tried to ensure that the boys did as many normal things as possible outside of their royal appearances. Here they are seen leaving a cinema in Kensington, having just watched Jungle Book. They also visited Thorpe Park, and there are many photos that we have seen from a trip in 1993, showing Diana laughing aboard some of the rides, for example the log water ride. In the 2017 ITV documentary, Diana, Our Mother, Her Life and Legacy, Prince Harry described Diana as a total kid through and through. When everybody says to me, "So she was fun, give us an example," all I can hear is her laugh in my head, he said. Both William and Harry have spoken about their mother's love of fun. Harry said her motto was, "You can be as naughty as you want, just don't get caught." Harry has spoken about Diana's hugs, saying she would just engulf you and squeeze you as tight as possible. Even talking about it now, I can feel the hugs that she used to give us. During a royal visit to Canada in 1991, Diana was seen running towards the boys after she had to fly to Toronto separately due to security concerns. Diana made such an impact as a royal in terms of choices, of causes to support, and the way she interacted with her children. Whilst noting protocol, she was not afraid to be a hands-on mum in so many ways. In the short time that Diana had with her boys, her legacy lives on. Through her boys, and definitely the history books will ensure that her star never fades. Let's have a look at Doria. Doria, born September 2nd in 1956, is an American social worker and former makeup artist and yoga instructor. Meghan is her only child. It is reported that the Ragland family descend from Richard Ragland, born into slavery in Jonesboro, Georgia in 1830. His surname came from slave owner William Ragland, a Methodist planter and land speculator who had emigrated during the 18th century from Cornwall in England to North America, settling in Virginia, North Carolina and Georgia. Whilst working as a makeup artist, Doria met her husband Thomas Markle whilst employed on the set of the TV show General Hospital. Doria achieved a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology and then went on in 2011 to achieve a master's degree in social work from the University of Southern California. After passing California's licensing exam in 2015, Doria was a social worker for 3 years at the D.D. Hirsch Mental Health Services Clinic. In 2020, Doria became the CEO, the CFO and secretary of a care home firm in Beverly Hills. Meghan was born in 1981, and Doria split from Thomas Markle when Meghan was 2 years old. Joint parenting took place. The couple divorced in 1987. Doria has been supportive of Meghan throughout her life and has been her rock. Doria has accompanied Meghan to public events and attended her wedding in Windsor. Doria has never given any time to any media organisation and has remained a silent support of her daughter and grandchildren. An absolute diamond in my eyes, compared to a number of elements from certain blood relatives. Due to this solid and consistent support, Doria is a permanent fixture in Harry and Meghan's lives and the grandchildren. Doria, like Diana, tried to ensure that her child would get to see and understand how some people had to struggle in life, and took Meghan on visits to places and people who tried to help in some way, such as soup kitchens, feeding homeless people. Meghan has built on those experiences and become, and continues to be, involved in charitable causes. The records show for several years before Meghan met Harry the interest and the commitment to a variety of humanitarian causes, along with topics such as women empowerment. Meghan was very, very active. Thank you, Doria, for the blessing of your parenting style and giving the world the joy of getting to read and see more of Meghan's contribution to royal life and the wider contribution to the world. A few examples of when Doria has been by Meghan's side, supporting her all the way. And these sources on this occasion come from Newsweek. United Nations Women's Advocacy. When Meghan was asked to speak at the event marking the 20th anniversary of the UN Fourth World Conference of Women in Beijing in 2015, she attended with Doria as her special guest. Speaking as a UN Women's Advocate for political participation and leadership, Meghan explained how she was encouraged to use her voice by her parents from a young age. Quoted by CNBC, Meghan said that it was important to remind girls that their small voices are in fact not small at all, and that they can affect change. The closing ceremony of Invictus in 2017. When news broke that Harry was dating Meghan in 2016, press attention intensified on the new couple. Harry invited Meghan to attend the closing ceremony of the 2017 Invictus Games, and the invitation was extended to Doria as a support for Meghan under the increased world spotlight. Mother and daughter were photographed together while Harry took part in the ceremony. The night before the royal wedding at Windsor Castle, Doria was with Meghan on her last night as Meghan Markle at Cliveden House Hotel, formerly the home of Britain's first female Member of Parliament, the American Nancy Astor. The royal wedding. Weeks leading up to the wedding, full of immense pressure, a very public falling out with her father left Doria the only member of the bride's family present at the ceremony. The launch of Meghan's first royal project. The launch of the cookbook to raise money for the victims of a major fire at West London's Grenfell Tower, which killed 72 people in 2017. At a 2018 event to celebrate the book in the gardens of Kensington Palace, Harry and Meghan brought Doria along to share in the project's success. The birth of Archie. Doria flew to London from Los Angeles to support Meghan before the Duchess gave birth to her son Archie in May 2019. In a photo released to mark the occasion, Doria takes pride of place next to the royal group to admire her grandson. The first wedding anniversary. Doria spent the day with the couple. This was the culmination of Doria's 5-week visit to assist Meghan with newborn Archie before she returned to Los Angeles. The christening. Doria flew from Los Angeles for Archie's christening. The NAACP Awards. When Meghan and Harry were presented with the President's Award by NAACP on February 26, 2022, Meghan brought along her mother to take part in the joy of the evening, not giving anything away. Doria supports her daughter even when she's not physically around her. Unlike many others of Meghan's family, Doria does not speak to the press, nor does she do interviews, in complete contrast to Thomas Markle, who at one point vowed to do an interview every month until his daughter agreed to speak to him again. Doria has been constant in her support to Meghan and Harry. Let's now have a look at Princess Meghan. Some, but not all the extracts in these bullet points are from a Tatler article in September 2021. From growing up in California to making a name for herself in a TV series, meeting Prince Harry, marrying Prince, and then spending less than 2 years as a senior working royal, only to be forced out by an unhealthy and increasingly dangerous environment. Meghan and Harry left the UK due to the increasing risks to their mental health and lives. During that time, Meghan had suicidal ideation and was refused help from within the royal environment, but found assistance via the Spencer family. Meghan has been through a very difficult time, but has survived and is now thriving back in California. Key events in her life. The role in Suits. Meghan graduated from Northwestern University in Illinois in 2003 with a bachelor's degree with a double major in theatre and international studies. Achieved her big break in 2011 when she was cast in the legal drama Suits. The lifestyle blog called The Tig. The Tig was active from 2014 to 2017. Shared her musings, beauty and wellness tips, recipes, travel guides and more. Her decision to run the blog alongside her professional life reflects her tendency to push against being boxed into a prescribed role. The Royal Wedding. Meghan and Harry made their public debut as a couple in September 2017 at the Invictus Games in Toronto, Canada. It was the day that the couple received their royal titles, becoming the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. The birth of Archie. Following the announcement of Meghan's pregnancy in October 2018, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex welcomed their first child, Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor, on the 6th of May 2019. Meghan gave birth at London's Portland Hospital and introduced their son to the public on the 8th of May in a special press briefing at Windsor Castle. Leaving the UK. On the 8th of January 2020, the Sussexes announced their intention to step back from senior royal life. After a final round of engagements, Meghan and Harry officially ceased working as royals at the end of March 2020. They moved to Canada and then on to California. The launch of Archewell. The name is based on the Greek word arch, meaning source of action. The organisation encompasses 3 pillars: the charitable Archewell Foundation, Archewell Productions and Archewell Audio. The Oprah interview. The first time the couple spoke out about their situation, speaking their truth, as opposed to all the hundreds of articles written daily by UK media since 2016, saturating the public domain with Sussex news in an effort to influence public opinion in a negative way. Yet when the Oprah interview took place, the fake dismay and tales of the Sussexes giving their side of the story again, when in fact this was the first time the couple had given their version of a few events, when in fact there was so much more they could have commented on. Apart from the content of the interview itself, the programme was famous for the behaviour of UK royal family mouthpieces in the media for a whole 7 days before the programme even aired, criticising things that they clearly thought would be on the table for discussion, giving themselves away without Meghan and Harry having to say a word. There was even so-called royal experts recording an interview about the programme, pretending to have viewed the said programme already, and was going to great lengths to criticise Meghan and Harry. When it was announced that none of these people, had seen anything yet, but had been happy to accept, for a few doing so, happy to accept a fee, goes to prove that the critics were ready with the venom before the programme even aired, and to receive payment for an interview for it was icing on their cake. No shame whatsoever, no remorse. Plenty of evidence from that week for the Sussexes, which may come in useful in the future. The birth of Lilibet, named after Harry's grandmother, the Queen, and his mother, Princess Diana. The couple welcomed their second child on the 4th of June 2021. New podcast. Meghan recently revealed her new podcast that looks at how some labels try to hold women back. It will air during the summer. Meghan quotes about motherhood. Look, any woman, especially when they are pregnant, you are really vulnerable, and so that was made really challenging. And then, when you have a newborn, especially as a woman, it is a lot. So you add media attention on top of just trying to be a new mom or trying to be a newlywed. Pregnancy, and on balancing the early days of motherhood under such close scrutiny. It's funny, I've actually been joking the last few weeks. I had seen this documentary on Netflix about feminism, and one of the things they said during pregnancy was, "I feel the embryonic kicking of feminism," end of quote. I love that. So boy or girl, whatever it is, we hope that that's the case with our little bump. This quote was on about raising a future feminist. Another quote. It's magic. It's pretty amazing. I have the 2 best guys in the world, so I'm really happy. This quote is about new motherhood. Losing a child means carrying an almost unbearable grief, experienced by many, but talked about by few. This was about her experience with miscarriage, featured in an op-ed in the New York Times. We have learned that when people ask how any of us are doing, and when they really listen to the answer with an open heart and mind, the load of grief often becomes lighter for all of us. This is about being invited to share our pain together. We take the first steps towards healing. This is about her experience of miscarriage. When we consider how vulnerable any mother feels during the fragile time of pregnancy, we gain perspective about how especially difficult it can be for pregnant women of colour and those who come from under-resourced, vulnerable communities. This was on the Archewell Foundation's Mother's Day gift to Harvest Home, a charity that offers housing and resources to homeless mothers across LA. The final quote from Meghan: "I have been a waitress, an actress, a princess, a duchess, and the most important title I will ever have is being a mom." These three wonderful ladies have enriched our lives in so many ways. Communities have emerged as a direct result of their humanitarian endeavours. Sussex Squad will always ensure that their stories will never be forgotten. Meghanpedia will ensure that accurate records will continue to exist, along with receipts that may not appear elsewhere. Thank you, ladies, for all that you continue to give our world. Happy Mother's Day. That's all from me for this week. I hope you enjoyed that little foray around some of the key points, key contributions by those three fabulous ladies. As I said in the article, there are far more images to bring back memories, and I hope that you are all enjoying your Mothering Sunday in the UK. Bye from me. Bye from Ivy. Bye.